Queen's Gambit, mon ami. Remember it. Me and Mike, or at least Mike has agreed with me, and I've said that this is the best thing that Marvel has done since No Way Home. I have said that this is the best series that they've done. This needs to start entering the argument that this might be the best thing Marvel has done.
Period. No asterisks at all.
This episode alone is better than a decent chunk of the movies they've made.
It's just written on a whole different level.
This is no child show. This is the shit I show to someone when they go animations for children. Watch that. It's I'm this is to the point of bragging at how well put together this is. They were on a fucking mission when they brought this show back, and it had to be good. This is fucking unreal. I've had so many people plugging at me. We had to wait a little bit. Mike had some stuff happen. That this is the best thing like fucking ever. And people like hyperbole. They weren't wrong.
Nope.
We'll go from the start. There's a lot going on in this episode. And I kind of get why this is supposed to be a two-parter, maybe, or in between the two-parter, because maybe for some reason they needed you to know where the other X-Men were at the time between this and then.
I mean, that does kind of make sense.
And then the other part 2 is going to line up with this. Okay. So, remember how I said how the intro changes a lot? And oh god, it's going to have to change again because some main cast members are gone.
I don't want to think about that.
I remembered it now. It was in an interview. They are resurrecting old animation stills and things from the old show and using it in the intro. One of the people that was getting back up some old 80s and other people that worked on the old show got a bunch of stuff from the old one, and they've been putting it into the intro, like rescued stuff. So that's a lot of what some of that is. It makes no sense with any other scenes in the show. It's just cool shit that's in the intro. That's what it is. Okay. Buckle up, folks, because this is going to be one of those, there's plot points and we're talking about all of them type of episode reviews. Might be longer in the episode. I don't know yet, but holy crap. This episode was good. So Madeline Pryor's one of the top brass in Genosha, along with, this was the cameo episode. Did you like an X-Men? They might have been in this episode. There was Emma Frost, Moira McTaggart, Banshee, and Sebastian Shaw were all the top brass of Genosha. I don't know why Banshee's in there, but the rest of them are pretty high top.
Yeah, he's cool.
Were you expecting to see Sebastian Shaw and Emma Frost just hanging out there?
Nope. But I do welcome their appearance. Moira too. I'm glad that we're seeing a little bit more of her.
Yeah, and somehow Emma Frost wasn't the one being a telepathic cheater in this episode. Anyway, we haven't gotten to that point yet. Also, I can't think of another cartoon, movie, or anything for that matter since I've been alive that they've actually referred to Jean as Marvel Girl in.
Yeah, like no other movie, TV show, or anything, to my knowledge, has she been referred to as that.
But when you think of it, outside of that, she doesn't have a superhero name. They just call her Jean Grey. The only time she's not is when she's a Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's weird. Now that didn't how it's not hitting me until now that she's like the only X-Men member that doesn't have a code name.
Scott is Cyclops. Logan is Wolverine. Kurt is Nightcrawler.
Like, I'm sure I realized that because A, they just call her Jean all the time. How is she the only one that went, no, Marvel Girl sounds stupid. The rest of you get to keep your nicknames.
Maybe it's just because Jean Grey is just a badass name.
It is a badass name, but it finally like it was at the 95.5% mark for 33 years of my life, and then it clicked finally in this episode when someone mentioned her actual alter ego and went, nah, no one actually ever calls her that.
I think I just straight up forgot that's what she's called. So
did I until they mentioned it, and I went, holy crap. When is the last time someone called her Marvel Girl?
Also, I just kind of love the framing device of the reporter interviewing all the X-Men at the mansion.
That was pretty good. So we're going to mention a couple of quotes here because this show is full of bangers. And not the type of bangers that dumbass Austin St. John thinks we put on t-shirts. Anybody doesn't know that. There was a reason I was a Tommy person the entire time. Austin St. John's an idiot. Those are Power Rangers things I'm talking about, people. Go look up his Warrior line and his stupid comments that he recently doubled down on about Hitler. Anyway, so this is Nightcrawler. There is no love without sin. For love is best measured at what we forgive. Every character in this show is the best written version of that character that's been any form of on-to-screen medium.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of ridiculous how much you can't even compete with them now. These are like Kevin Conroy Batman levels of nailing these characters.
Pretty much.
It's insane.
And this is one of those episodes where when people say that, oh, the X-Men are like X-Men comics are like a giant soap opera. Yes.
Hello, by the way, did anyone forget that Scott loves to cheat on Jean whenever he can? Woo! You only saw 2 of them in here. He regularly jumped on the bones of Cyclops too while he was at it. Would I blame him if I had the chance? No! It's everything going on. And one of the best part is, all of this extra drama is stuff actual normal adults would do.
Yep.
This is not hyper exaggerated, all this garbage. If you were in these situations with these circumstances, this is not far-fetched.
That's what makes the X-Men like so much, I don't want to say better than other comics, but they put the focus on the characters first, the superhero cool action second, but not too far below, because we'll get to the second half.
Yeah. So we saw Emma Frost in this episode being a good person. Why? Because we're going to have Madeline Pryor filling the Emma Frost telepathic cheat on slot for Scott. I was like, wow. Emma Frost is basically known for doing one of 2 things. Being the person that made Jean and Scott's life a living hell with a love triangle, and then taking over the school. She didn't get to do either of those in this episode. She was, from what I can tell, romantically involved with Sebastian Shaw.
That seems logical.
Which seems logical. And they did that in a really great way, too. With them actually fooling you to make it look like that was actually them, and then Jean went, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, Why is Jean appearing right there? Oh, that's actually Madeline. We like that is one thing that I don't know if they'd ever do in movies. But wow, the head jerk of having both of them actually be in this. I can't remember. Do you remember if any of the other animated series actually had both of them in it?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Because obviously not the original one. I don't remember it in Evolution, and all the other ones really never ran for that long.
I think this might be the only time that they're like actually going there.
Oh, I love it, man. It's the way they're writing the scenes and they're animating it's fooling me every time now. So.
Now, speaking of bangers, here's one that I really like when the UN center says like, normally countries don't allow terrorists to be leaders.
And yet somehow some nations allow their leaders to be terrorists.
Ouch. That one was sharp.
I was like, the best part was in most evil circumstances, those quotes would be flipped with characters. It would be the reporter calling him a terrorist, but yet when Magneto is referring to someone else as a terrorist,
the
writing in the show is just too good.
And just the performances are top notch.
Yes, but right before, and I didn't think we were actually going to see this, right before we get to, before we get to that, we actually got to see Savage Land.
Savage Land, man.
Now, oh man, my brain's blanking. Mystique cared for Rogue as if she was her kid. She wasn't her actual kid, correct? I'm remembering that correctly.
That sounds correct.
Because
let me double check.
Yeah, because Nightcrawler is actually Mystique's kid. Because originally, oh boy, I gotta remember this. Originally, it was rumored to be Mystique and Sabretooth, but then Mystique and Sabretooth had a different kid, and it's like Graydon Creed, I want to say.
Okay, so Rogue's parents are Owen and Priscilla. So
okay,
neither one of those are
Mystique. Okay, because then Mystique, it was revealed that's actually a literal demon named Azazel was his parent. And then I believe recently in current comics, if I read that article correctly, that Mystique, oh boy, I gotta explain this correctly. Mystique and her normal girlfriend, it's a character she's been romantically involved with for a while. Mystique shifted so that she was a male and then inseminated the girlfriend and gave birth to Nightcrawler like as the parent. Like those two are his actual parents. It's weird to say, but they made it so that like, yeah, I believe it was that she actually like morphed into a male and then gave birth. It's wild. But his dad's no longer. It's just Mystique and her girlfriend. It's wild. But yeah, we got to see them Leonardo DiCaprio and Rose, and we started to see of Jack and Rose with the painting and all of this and like all that. And I don't know if that was meant to be Mystique. She said my evil mother. I don't remember too much about Rogue's original mom, but because like my brain is just going back to Evolution where she was just raised by Mystique.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I'm like, wait a minute. Like in those flashbacks, that's not Mystique.
No, Mystique. I believe Mystique picks her up from something that was bordering on a monastery or something like that. But yeah. So they full on did the horizontal mambo, but like she just like Eric had too much going on. Apparently, age gap was not a problem in her opinion. And then that is brought up with one of the freaking just best adult conversations in animated medium, period. Neither of them know how to handle that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And both are being brutally honest.
I honestly respect the hell out of the writers for how they've handled all of the ships in this show, really.
They've bounced like 4 at a time and done well.
Like in this episode alone, there's a moment where Gene and Logan lock lips for a second, only for him to be like, "Nope, you're with Scott. That's the rules."
I'm always the guy that just wants to be there. This isn't how it works. Even Wolverine was like, no. Even I know we wouldn't be good together. And you know how it can work? Because she literally doesn't remember anything. It's her actually figuring herself out. And even Scott, in his dickheaded of own ways, went, do you actually remember loving me? That's crazy.
That's another great line. Like, do you actually love me, or am I just a lovely memory?
The fact that they have all this, like you said, soap opera level crap going on, and it's all like being handled and no details are being missed. Oh, oh God, it's so good. Someone pointed this out. Someone put a thing on Twitter, and I was like, I was avoiding spoilers like Gatling gun fire for the past like week, but someone posted the difference in tone when he goes from calling her Cher to Mon Ami, and you get to see Rogue just start crying because he's not calling her Cher anymore.
Mm.
But yeah, then you had that great line. And at this gala,
hold on. Before that, did you notice the Watcher in the background?
Yes, I did notice that. I did notice that. Someone pointed that out to me, that even in the intro, he's in the background. I'm like, this is some freaking infinite crossovers, all this horse shit. But I thought just at the mansion, Jean got shot in the head. Because they don't do well. They make it look like it enters the back of her brain and exits out the front of her head when she had that weird headache. And it was blue for her. And then the same thing later happens to Madeline. And it again looks like they got shot in the head. And I'm like, did you just get psychically assassinated by Emma Frost? Like, what just happened? But you see Cable just show up for 20 seconds and be like, no, we need to leave. Crap's about to happen. And he actually calls Madeline mom. So, like, they know he made it.
She could see it in his eyes.
You can see it in his eyes. And I remembered him like, oh, yeah, Cable was in the original show. That's right. And before we get too far into all that anyway, before they fight Mecha Sentinel, I just jotted some names down that I saw we were at this thing. You had Multiple Man.
Yep.
You had Pixie. Azazel, Marrow, Nightcrawler was there. We forgot to mention that. I already mentioned the quote, but like, and a bunch of other X-Men that I don't know their names. I don't know. I can't remember who the hell the see-through guy was. The fish one with the scale with a kind of like a head. I can't remember exactly what it was. It's a really popular Morlock, like Torg or it's a weird name, which is a male Morlock, which was the head person in at the head of the one with the eye patch that was at the head circle there. Yeah. I don't know what the hell we're supposed to call Mecha Sentinel. Because that was Master Mold on steroids.
Yeah.
Because, again, me and Mike are a week late on this. I don't know what Michael got spoiled on, but I got spoiled on a certain character sacrificing himself, not two. And we learned during this dance thing that Rogue, within seconds of locking lips with Magneto, went, I don't care if I can touch you. This isn't real. Skin contacts, actual contact's not that important. Feelings matter, which is a lesson Every one of you people watching this should learn, if you only like them because you can have sex with them, the relationship's false.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't go the rest of your life without having sex with them, you don't actually love them. Sorry, that's how actual love works. I don't remember who said this, and it's Taylor Tomlinson. Now, this is a sort of crass line, but it's incredibly accurate. Love is blind, lust is Helen Keller. I'm pretty sure that was Taylor Tomlinson, but that is nailing it on the head.
It is.
So, I mentioned that the opening credits are going to change. I didn't know because they kind of tee it up to maybe having Magneto like faking that he's still a good person to try and like grapple hold of Genosha now that it's part of the UN. Their portrayal of Magneto in this is, like I said, bordering on illegal in how good it is. The "Don't be afraid" line with Leech in German while he's having flashbacks of his people being just annihilated at Auschwitz and during World War II, while he restricts both Gambit and Rogue when he looks her in the eyes and goes, didn't say it, but just like, no, you're better off with him. I'm not separating you two again. I don't matter. And then tries to save those kids, all those Morlocks. And they just wipe Magneto out in episode 5.
This won't mean anything to you, but for the Dragon Ball fans out there, this is pretty much Vegeta's sacrifice.
And then, not even 5 minutes later, we get one of the coldest "no, I'm him" moments in comics ever, where Gambit kinetically charges a crotch rocket, hits Rogue in the face with it to knock her out of her blind rage, tries to take the Sentinel out, and it stabs him, thinking the threat is eliminated. And he just point blank says, "The name's Gambit, mon ami. Remember it," as he charges the thing through his stabbed body and explodes the giant Sentinel.
That was his I am Iron Man moment.
And then I didn't know what this meant because it was just a text thing on Twitter. It showed a person with a picture of Scarlet Witch, and it showed a picture of Rogue, and all it says was the quote, "I can't feel you." Because that's the same thing that Scarlet Witch says to Vision when she finds him dead in that sword basement.
And now you know the context.
I'm scared for what they're going to do in the rest of the show, that they had the balls to kill off Magneto and Gambit in episode 5.
Now, because this is X-Men, I have to ask, do you really think these deaths are permanent?
Who's resurrecting them at this moment?
Fair.
I'm not being serious. They have no Krakoa bullshit that as long as you go back and get resurrected. They don't have the Phoenix. They have no one. And they could pull some horse shit, but at this moment, as much as Gambit was literally my favorite person in the original and was in my top 2 in this, I don't want them to.
Yeah, me neither, to be honest. Like at least like with Storm, we know she'll get her powers back because you know, it's happened in the comics
It is. They're following the storyline to a T. People getting their powers back, I'm okay with. But I need to have comic book storylines where people stay dead. You already have clones going on. And Jean Grey, who is the queen of, no, sorry, next episode I will be alive again. Just, if you're going to do it, commit to it.
Yeah.
And if they do go down the line going back, you can't bring back both of them. You just can't. They already have Morph in the show, who was the original OG X-Men, the animated series fake out death.
Oh, yeah. So you don't have to do the fake death for any of them.
No. And I honestly think it'd be the worst thing for the show if they did, because they're going to get nothing but get called cowards for bringing back two people after the most heroic sacrifices that I think I've ever seen in an animated medium.
Yeah.
I'm probably blanking and forgetting some. Well, I shouldn't say in an animated medium because Gurren Lagann exists, but they're up there. Yeah, this is a lot. And they don't even have a confirmed death toll, but I remember looking back at the body bags. Most of the Genosha Senate's in there. Sebastian Shaw is dead. That's a heavy hitter to be dead. I don't remember if I saw Emma Frost there, but like, holy shit.
And just so we're clear, this episode is an adaptation of E is for Extinction, and I think they delivered on that.
Yeah. I don't know how they're going about adapting these runs of comics into a 20-minute episode and just nailing it. It's adaptation. It's all in how it's done. Because this could have been a movie and it could have been terrible. It's all in how it's adapted. Good freaking. Oh, yeah. I don't know what to say for next week, because next week's the end of a two-parter that was done the previous week. You got any predictions whatsoever on this?
Honestly, I just want to see what they have in store for us.
I'm somehow weirdly looking forward to the episode after next week's more than technically next week's, which is like today. Because I don't think you're going to be resolving any of this shit this week.
Nope.
But yeah, Mike. Oh my gosh. All right, Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me in all the various social media sites at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterbox.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and that place at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube on Podchaser. Consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. You can escape, so do we.
Absolutely. You can find me everywhere on Organized Zero, mostly on Twitch and YouTube. Until next time, we will see you all later.